G'day guys, welcome to my NRL round number 10 tips. It is the NRL's magic round. Unfortunately, I won't be there. Normally when I do my tips, I read off a phone or a computer. I don't have access to that today. So I've got my tips written down on Nan's shopping list. We're going to be speaking about round 10. I've got some upsets this round. Looking forward to speaking about it. Speaking a bit about last round, obviously not having the team list in front of me, I've tried to memorise as much as I can, so wish me luck. And let's get into my NRL magic round tips.
Subscribe to Entertain House.
So, yes, this video, I'm wearing Lakers, not Eels, because this is being filmed at halftime between the Lakers and the Warriors game. It's the best time I've had to do my tips. So, let's get straight into it. It all kicks off on Friday night with the Canberra Raiders and the Bulldogs opening magic round. The Canberra Raiders got out of jail against the Dolphins. They really let them back into that game. They had a lead for a while, but in typical Raiders fashion. But they got the win. They gritted out the win. 31 points to 30, a bit of controversy in some call towards the end. Jack Whitehead had a stellar game after a lot of talk about him in the media, whereas the Bulldogs, one of the most impressive teams of the round, especially the performance of Braden Burns. I thought to play with the injury that he had and the speed that he was playing with as well. Imagine if he was fully fit, he would have had a blinder. Jake Averillo had a blinder. Now they do get Jacob Carraz and Max King back, so those are some big ins. And look, the Bulldogs are definitely a chance of winning this game, but the Raiders, I'm pretty sure, have had a pretty good record up there at Magic Round, and they're coming off a win. They have looked okay. I think the Bulldogs, if they had a loss last week and it would have been close, then they probably win this game. But I think that what's going on with Canberra at the moment, they've got a lot to show that they can still compete this season. So I think they'll win this game. I'm going to go Canberra here, 1-12. I'm not going to go 13 plus. I'm going to go with the Raiders 22 to the Bulldogs 10. So I'm going to tip the Raiders by 12. I think that would be a little bit too good for the Bulldogs, but I think the Bulldogs will play some good footy. As I said, some of the big inclusions, but I don't think these are two very attacking teams really. So I'm going to go 22-10. I'm going to back Elliot Whitehead for first try scorer. He's been fairly quiet in try scoring at least. So I'm going to back Elliot Whitehead to score the first try this game and Canberra to win on Friday night. Next up on Friday sees the Manly Sea Eagles and the Broncos. Now these sides have met at Suncorp numerous years. A few years ago it was Manly getting a massive win. Last year it was Broncos getting a massive win, and the Broncos are coming off a loss to the South Sydney Rabbitohs where they were absolutely dominated without Payne Haas and Ezra Mam, and they do have those players back in. I believe Corey Oates is still not back in for the side though. Manly are coming off a home loss, their first loss of the season at home to the Gold Coast Titans, where Tom Trbojevic wasn't playing, but the Titans absolutely controlled that game. For this game, I think everybody will tip the Broncos 13 plus here. And I think Seabold being at Manly Sea Eagles makes this a very fiery game and occasion as well at Magic Round. I think this will be closer than people think. I think that the Broncos are playing some great footy, and they probably still are going to be I'll say it, I think they are a top 4 side this year. If they go and lose this game, then we'll see what I think next week. But right now, I'd put the Broncos around that top 4, and I think they can grind out a win. I'm going to tip the Broncos here by 8 points. Now, they do lose. Manly Sea Eagles lose Jake Trbojevic this week. They welcome back Tom. So there's an inclusion and an out, which is a big out. But I think Manly will be competitive. I think Manly... I'm backing the Broncos to score first. I think Manly could lead at some point, and the Broncos can fight their way back into the game. But I'm going to go with the Broncos 22 to the Manly Sea Eagles 14. The Broncos by 8. And I reckon Selwyn Cobbo is going to score the first try in this game. So Selwyn Cobbo to score first, and the Broncos to defeat the Sea Eagle on Friday night. Well, next up sees 3 o'clock Saturday, I believe. It is the Warriors and the Penrith Panthers. Now, the Penrith Panthers are coming off, well, like the Warriors, but they are coming off back-to-back losses. The Warriors put in a great fight against Melbourne at Amy Park, and they didn't play that bad against the Roosters, but wet weather footy. they couldn't chance their opportunity and were obviously kept to nil at home, which is disappointing for them. So they'll want to put in a good performance and show that they're not the side that they've been in previous years, which I think we're past that discussion. They're a much better team this year. And the Penrith Panthers, again, wet weather footy, but the previous week, not good enough. The loss to Souths in their eyes, especially. They played pretty well in that game. Look, I'm on the Warriors in relation to they're up about for finals this year. I probably have the Warriors somewhere right now between, 6th and 10th, and I think they might be there. I think the New Zealand Warriors might play finals, but look, for this game, I think they're going to get a little bit exposed, and I think Penrith are going to be really angry. They have put on some points this year. I did tip Penrith last week by a closer margin. I know people were tipping them by 40. I think this is a game where they come out and score 40. So look, I'm actually going to go with the Panthers to win here by 24. I think they're going to be red hot. I think Jerome Luai knows that his origin spot is now in danger of Nico Hines as well. And I think he'll be firing the halves as well. So I'm going to go with the Warriors 16 to the Penrith Panthers 40. I think they'll crack the 40 here. That's 56 points, so I like the overs. Best bet overs, 40 points at $1.90. And I'm going to go with Sania Taruva to score the first try this game. I'm sorry, Warriors, but I think this is one of those weeks where you'll be a little bit off. I still think you're in for a good year. I still do. I think there's some positive signs, but I think Penrith are going to be very angry and show this competition that you can't doubt them just yet with a high scoring one. Next up sees the Cronulla Sharks up against the Dolphins. Now, as for this game, you've got the Sharks coming off a great win against the Cowboys. They were dominated from the start, scoring plenty of points, almost cracking the 50 against the Cowboys there. And then the Dolphins, they lost after fighting themselves back into the game against the Raiders. But as I said, some people think a controversial call going the way of the Raiders. I guess you could say, in their opinion, robbed the Dolphins of this victory. They've been very gritty in this one. It is Wayne Bennett's 900th coaching game, so a big milestone. But the Dolphins aren't playing as good as the Sharks, in my opinion. They have been able to fight to get back into games, but the Sharks are firing on all cylinders and have won 4 of their last 5 games. But I don't care. I'm going to tip an upset here. I'm going to tip the Dolphins. Now, I've spoken about Wayne Bennett's occasion. These players that were expected to be down the bottom of the ladder have performed consistently throughout the season. I guess the last couple of weeks they've been a little bit shaky, but they've been very good at Suncorp. Whether they win or lose at Suncorp, a loss against the Broncos, they have kept this close. So people picking Sharks 13 plus, and I still think the Sharks, besides last week, their defense was a lot better, are leaking a lot of points, and the Dolphins can attack. We've seen it all season. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. I'm going to go with the Dolphins in an upset. I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win, a high-scoring one, 24 points to 20. The Dolphins to beat the Sharks at Magic Round. And I'm going to go with Britton Nakora, first try scorer. I think the Sharks will be lethal early on and score the first try. So Britton Nakora first. But I reckon that the Dolphins are going to beat the Sharks at Magic Round. So fins up. Next up, you've got a Saturday night thriller considered as the main event, a very tough one to tip. You've got the Melbourne Storm coming off the bye, but they were able to grind out a win at Amy Park against the New Zealand Warriors, up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who are in great form, arguably due a loss, but they are in very, very good form and very quickly in a lot of people's minds, including my own, probably going to be there on grand final day in 2023. These sides met, I think, about 5 weeks ago. The Storm got the better of the Rabbits. I did tip the Storm there. They have a great record. I actually could be wrong, but I don't think the Rabbits have actually ever won a away game considered. Like, the Storm are the home team here at Suncorp. They do have a great record at Suncorp. Tavita Totola was back last week. He was great. The Storm are starting to get players back. They're starting to play better footy than they were at the start of the year. This one's a tough one. I am going to tip South Sydney here. I'm going to go South Sydney by 6. As I mentioned, they are just firing on all cylinders. They had that close loss against Melbourne at home earlier in the season. I don't think they'll want to lose back-to-back against them. And I think the Storm are beatable. I still do. They were beatable against Manly. So I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs 24 to the Melbourne Storm 18. I think it'll be a great high-scoring game. And I'm going to go with a bit of a roughie. I'm going to go Cody Walker, number 6, Cody Walker, to score score first try, anytime try, but first try scorer in that Rabbits and Storm game. Souths to win by 6. Very tough one to pick on Saturday. Now, next up, you've got the Wests Tigers, who got the job done. Congratulations, Tigers fans, against the Penrith Panthers out there at Bathurst. Luke Brooks kicking 2 40-20s. The return of David Nofaluma, scoring his 100th NRL try. And what a try it was, the match winner against Penrith. Going up against the Dragons, who really gave me the shits on Sunday, but the Bulldogs were just too good. Dragons had plenty of opportunity. The Bulldogs dropped the ball a lot, giving and handing over possession. But again, Zach Lomax, who is out of the side now. Max Fine moves from the wing into the centres. Now, Jaden Sullivan is back, but Jacob Little has been dropped with Moses Mbye to start in hooker. I don't know what's going on with that team right now. But the Tigers, it was a great win last week. Can they replicate that again? It's been 200 days, well, it's been 4 days now, but it was 200 days since they won a game of footy. So there are some concerns there, but I'm going to go the Tigers here. I'm going to go the Tigers. I think it's the first time that I have tipped the West Tigers all season. I might have tipped them against Newcastle. It's definitely the first or second time. I think they can win and win well. I was going to go the Tigers 13 plus. I'm going to go the Tigers 1-12. I'm going to go the Tigers by 10. I think it'll be a low scoring game. A pretty bludger of a match, to be honest. I'm going to go the Tigers to win. Back-to-back game. 20 points to 10. I still think the Dragons' attack looks very poor, so I'm just not sure. Besides maybe Ben Hunt individual try, I don't even know where their points are going to come from. David Nofaluma, first try scorer. Last try scorer last week, first try scorer this week. And I reckon Stefano Utuikamanu, best bet this week. Anytime try scorer, Stefano Utuikamanu. I reckon he'll play some big minutes. He's at $7. And yeah, I'm tipping the West Tigers to go back-to-back. Up on Sunday, you have the Roosters and the Cowboys. The Cowboys, you can just about put that red line through them. They're going to want to be competitive. They're going to show everybody that they're not to be hated on as much as they are, and still got a great team on paper, just missing a few key players. But I haven't been too impressed with the Roosters this season. I've said it all season. It was a good win against the Warriors, but there were a lot of knock-ons from the Roosters that weren't called by the referee. So it's a bit questionable. They probably could have put more points on the Warriors, lots of attacking opportunity, but the Warriors defensively held their ground. As for the Cowboys, conceded against Cronulla, and they put in a great performance last year, and it's a very similar team to last year, so it's quite concerning. They've got a tough draw, but I'm going to go with the Roosters here, 13 plus just. I'm going to go 14 points. I'm going to go the Roosters 30 to the Cowboys 16. I'm going to tell you right now, I reckon the Cowboys are going to come out firing here, and I reckon they're going to score the first try. I'm going to back a bit of a roughie, but I'm telling you now, the Cowboys will score first, but the Roosters will go on to win. And my first try scorer is going to be Reece Robson. I reckon Reece Robson, they're going to create some player to get Robson over the line, but I reckon the Roosters will be too good for the Cowboys in the second last game of Magic Round. Right, guys, here it is. The Titans and the Parramatta Eels. Bring it on, BKR Sport. Bring it on. I know that these boys are determined to win game and get themselves higher on the ladder. The Titans win against the Seagulls. It was a fluke, mate. It was a fluke, and you're going to see that at Magic Round, 6 o'clock Sunday night. I'm looking forward to it. There were some great games between the Eels and the Titans last year. I grabbed my notes here as well. But this one, Parramatta are going to take the Chockies. So a little call out there for BKR Sport. I'd love to see what you've got back. But Parramatta to win. Few changes I'll mention. Andrew Davey comes into the side, the new recruit, former Parramatta Eel. So it's good to see him back, and he had a good performance in New South Wales Cup as well. Bailey Simonson comes back into the centres. Sean Russell forced out of the side. I probably would have had Sean Russell on the wing over Hayes Dunster. I still want to see more from Hayes, and I want to see a bit of speed about him, but I understand he is coming back from a major injury. It was a great win against the Newcastle Knights last week. I thought it was a very good team performance. I thought Hopgood, Moses were great, and Gutherson obviously scored a hat-trick, so he was superb as well. As for the Titans, a good win against the Seagulls. As I said, they controlled it. They actually played 80 minutes of footy, something that they've struggled to do this year, but they got it together and got a great win for the fans, especially away from home, where they don't have the greatest record away from home. And this is considered a home game for them, so they do have a better home game record, but I'm going to go with the Eels here. I'm going to go with the Eels to win by 12. I'm going to go Parramatta 26, the Titans 14. I reckon Will Penasini has been in great form all year. I reckon he will score the first try. Will Penasini, and an anytime pick is Sean Lane. But those are my tips. Before you jump off this video, it's time to talk about a little giveaway. So guys, all thanks to jerseyspot.co.nz, who make these NRL authentic, awesome jerseys. And look, I have a Dolphins one. It is fins up to me. So I can't wait to wear that for a vlog. And it has got Hamaso's #1 on the back. But you can pick which team you would like. Now, to make this a bit fair, I am going to make you pick between two games, the last and first try scorer. Now, for each one that you get right, I'll screenshot these and give you a close date, all that information. You will get an entry into the wheel to spin to win the jersey. So, obviously, I'm a Parramatta Eels supporter. Eels, Titans, comment the last and first try scorer in that game. If you get both, 2 entries. If you get one entry. If you get none, unfortunately, no entry. We're going to make it double chance. So the Eels and the Titans. And the other game I'm going to pick, I think the Broncos and Manly's a big one. So I'm going to go with the Bronco and Manly. So Broncos and Manly, first and last try scorer, as well as Eels and Titans, first and last try scorer. There'll be a few people that'll be winners, like spinning the wheel. And someone's going to win an NRL jersey from jerseyspot.co.nz. How good does that look, guys? It looks fantastic. Can't wait to wear that for a Dolphins game, probably an away game. Going to be hard to get up there besides the Eels game. But those are my tips for the week. As I mentioned, best bet, just to run through them quickly again. I think the Panthers and Warriors will go over 40 points. I think that Cody Walker will score a try at any time. I think that Stefanu Utuikamanu will cross the stripe against the Dragons. And Sean Lane at $3.50 to score a try, because last week we lost our multi to the Dragons head-to-head. Guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, enter the giveaway. I'll put up a post on Instagram relating to it and keep track of the entry. Enjoy your magic round. I'm sorry I can't be there. My cousin's getting married, and I can't wait to suit up and show you guys what I look like. But enjoy your footy, have fun, and I'll see you guys next